It's so important, and I can't stress enough because what happens to us is a physical experience, and trauma gets trapped in our nervous system, and being able to move that energy and release it. I know for myself, when I think about something that really pisses me off, um, I feel like if I have no physical way to release it, it just feels stagnant and trapped, and it will evolve into something more toxic. Absolutely true. It's so important, and I can't stress enough because what happens to us is a physical experience, and trauma gets trapped in our nervous system, and being able to move that energy and release it. I know for myself, when I think about something that really pisses me off, um I feel like if I have no physical way to release it, it just feels stagnant and trapped, and it will evolve into something more toxic. So for me, it's absolutely necessary. And anyone that I've worked with, parents that I've worked with, they end up releasing that anger or tension or anxiety in different ways physically with their children, if they haven't been able to break patterns. And so being able to have a physical way to release that is really key, for their process of parenting and for their healing. And I feel like it's been tremendously important for me. So I definitely agree.
True for me. Oh no. Um, you need a way to release your stress, and that is a must. For me, after the abuse, I blame myself a lot that it is my fault. It is how I look because the abuser told me that because you are attractive, because you are smart. So I want to do everything opposite. Like the first 2 weeks or so, I like maybe TMI. I just don't want to take shower. I just want to make my hair look the craziest. I don't want to get out from pajamas. I don't want to work out. I don't want to do anything because I think that's the way that I'm going to be safe from getting abused. Um, it took me a while. It actually my children are the one who got me out of that. It because my little guy, he said, "Mommy, you stinky, and you look like you haven't been in the shower for days." So I say, "You're right. I need to love. I need to show the love to myself. If I keep myself in that rut, then that abuser win. No way. I can't let him win." So that is why, you know, I am doing what I'm doing now.
Absolutely true for me. Um, I also find myself dissociating. And it's not just that highway hypnosis, it's just that when I am triggered, I truly leave my body. And when I work out, it's the one time that I feel 100% in control. It's a way that I can say that I am more powerful than my abuser. I can say, no, my body is my own, and I will treat it the way that I want to be treated. And so I'm making myself stronger. I'm making myself better. I'm making myself do all the things that I need to do for myself because I am better and stronger for it.
100%, 1000% true for me, as well. And, because I think Rosalia mentioned that, we have all this trapped energy, right, in our bodies. And their studies show that when you move, that is a way of releasing that trapped energy within your body. And then also because of that, the dissociation. A lot of survivors do experience that. And I found that for me, especially, and even just, as I support my clients, fitness and actually moving your body is a way to get back into your body and feel yourself and feel present. And then also, Carly mentioned is that it's a way to um, treat your body and treat yourself again with love, because of, for many of us, the things that have happened to us have caused us to not value ourselves. And so just simply doing something good for yourself and for your body, it builds up that increases that value within yourself, and teach yourself how to care for yourself again and how to love yourself again. So absolutely, for me.
Okay. Absolutely true, because the physical abuse for me, the sexual abuse for me, happened to my body. And so it was the last part I wanted to check on. It was something that I was like, my body doesn't matter. Like it was, and I had treated it bad for a really long time. Like even after the abuse, I had started cutting myself. I had started drinking, doing stuff with other guys, because I was like, who cares about my body anymore? Who cares? Like it doesn't matter. It was abused, and I get to forget about it, and I'm okay. I put a mask on that I was okay for so long that I like believed that I was doing fine. And so really like the physical aspect for me to really understand that it wasn't for anybody else. Like I said, I had gone to the gym when I was really young and I had felt safe there, but really I did do it for other people. And so when I finally realized like the power that fitness, and like we've all said, like it does not have to be going to the gym. It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. It doesn't have to look like any of us are doing. It's about what works for you and how you show up for yourself, because you are fighting for yourself, and it's telling your mind that you are worth fighting for. Because right now, like our minds are so powerful, and oftentimes they're telling us all the things that our abusers have said about us. Like I used to believe all the things that he said, that it was my fault, that no one would ever love me, all those things. But when I started to show up for myself physically, my mind was like, oh shoot, she's not giving up. Like Boom said this, like we're not giving up. We're the winners here. And so really what physical fitness did for me was show me how to fight for myself again. And it's whatever you make it, but that question is absolutely true.
So I actually fell into it, I think. I used to go dancing quite a lot when I was young, to nightclubs, and I always felt so sort of satiated, like it was an emotional, physical, mental release. And then when I stopped doing that as I got older, I didn't really have an outlet. And I started realizing that there was something lacking. Like I couldn't figure out how to release a lot of anxiety. I have a big tendency to be very anxious. And so um, I kind of figured out how to start incorporating it at home. And especially because I have kids, it's really hard to get to the gym a lot of times. And I never, like, I'm a very private person, very much an introvert. And so I didn't, the idea of a gym didn't actually appeal to me anyway. And I would just, watch workouts, and those didn't really feel right. So I actually just literally started dancing in the kitchen. My kids know that, mom's like dancing in the kitchen. It's just par for the course. And that really was what made me realize how much better and healthier I felt after. And I was just happier in general. And then I thought I have to make this almost like a regular practice. But I also, again, incorporate it with where I am in my cycle. And learning about my body cycle also really helped me understand that your body does need to release energy. And the work that I do can be very triggering. So when I don't do it, I notice that that energy gets like trapped in my body. And working with my therapist, like they helped me to understand all the different ways that I could release that energy. And but dance, I love music, and dance just became it for me. And I try to make sure I'm also listening to music that is more current, because if I listen to music that's tied to my past, sometimes that can be triggering. So I'm very conscious to like listen to music that really motivates, inspires me, and makes me feel good. Like all of it just comes together, and I feel like I'm a better mom at the end of the day because of it. So, and my kids love dancing with me too now. So that's become a really fun activity that we all do.
Well, for me, I received a gym membership as a birthday present from my loved one. And I raised eyebrow, like, what do you mean by giving me this? So I give it a try. I was very much introverted then. I just like a few other people where I'd rather just work out in my corner and just because I don't want anyone to laugh at me or think, oh my God, she doesn't know what she's doing. But as I start going, I get more comfortable in the classes, and I start building friendship. Feel like I moved to United States probably about 5 years into that before I joined the gym, and I just didn't really have a whole lot of friends. So that is like expanding the network of people that have the same interest. So I love it so much that I decided to get certified for two programs. One is a dance and one is the Tai Chi Yoga Pilates. And I have become a volunteer because my gym is located inside a hospital. So I have been a volunteer and teaching the silver sneaker class ever since.
So I actually started my fitness journey on an unhappy note. Basically, my abuser at the time was fat shaming me and telling me things about my body and that I needed to work out and that I needed to lose the weight, and threatening to leave me. And at the time, I wasn't strong enough to realize that was a red flag. And I joined a community of women that actually helped me realize what this man was doing to me. And they said, Carly, this is abuse. This is subtle and general abuse. And they pulled me out of the darkness, and I continued to work out after that. This community where I particularly lie, we check in every day with each other, and we send sweaty selfies and healthy plated pics. And it just motivated me to do better every day, no matter how I was feeling. And I will still check in on my bad days and be like, I feel like utter, you know what? And they will pull me out of the darkness and be like, you are strong. You are better than your demons. And I'm so grateful for them.
So I started my fitness journey, I think also kind of on an unhealthy note. So I started as a way to, I think change my body because I didn't like myself and I didn't like my body. And that was before, my trauma. But then, after the trauma, then it got even more unhealthy because then I think I used, fitness, dieting, and trying to change my body as a way to attack myself and attack my body. And so for a very long time, I started it to change myself. But then as time went on, it was more about, okay, how can I used it then to heal myself and heal my relationship with my body. So I started as a way to change my body. And then it kind of grew into this self-love journey of healing my relationship with my body and myself.
I started my fitness journey, I think, for everybody else. Like, I played sports. I was always like athletic. I went to the gym because I wanted to get away from everybody at my house after the abuse. And so for years, I think I used it for everybody else enjoyment. Like, I looked good. I was always like, okay, as long as other people like me, that's great. But it was never until like after college until I realized no, actually fitness helps you fight for yourself. And so when I realized, I was like, I'm not just going to the gym to look good for everybody else. This is actually helping me fight for myself and realize who I am. And so it was actually the first step I took in my healing journey, because I had gone 16 years with acting like nothing had happened, believing it was my fault. And when I hit rock bottom, I was like, where's the one place that has always made me feel safe and strong? And that was in the gym for me. And so I realized, I'm like, I don't want to just go back to the gym for everybody else, because it's not about them anymore. Like, I get to choose me. And that's when I realized, like, no, I get to change my mindset behind the gym. Like, I don't have to go. I don't have to go work out. I don't have to do these things. I get to. And so when I realized I was like, I get to, I showed up differently. I showed up because I loved it. I showed up because I was like, every time I didn't want to go, I was like, nope, Alisha, you're fighting for yourself today. Get your ass in the gym. Like, let's go. Because like, it wasn't for anybody else. And so when I realized like how important I was, it was also a lot easier for me to give my body what it needed, which was physically moving my body.
I would say absolutely true. But it took a while, and it wasn't, I think what happened to me happened when I was quite young. But as I got older, I realized that, moving my body and kind of reclaiming the wildness inside of myself as part of that, like, that was really powerful. And I didn't know that that's what was happening until many years later. But once I made all those connections, I realized I wish I had been able to make that connection sooner and tap into it sooner. So if you're at the point where you feel like maybe it's too late, or you missed the boat, or because of your health conditions you can't, there is always some way to do that, because I think being able to um, reclaim your body is really reclaiming your power. That is the place where you were abused, and so to be able to tap back into, reclaiming that power, um, and taking back your health, and taking back your mental wellness, and taking back your spiritual connection to yourself, reclaiming that wild, um, you know, truth, that inner knowing of yourself. It's all connected. Like, we aren't these separate parts. All of it is connected. And so when we can, do that from a holistic place, that includes that fitness and physical wellness piece, I think all of it really then comes together. So absolutely was important, and wherever you are on that journey, you can still always tap into it.
Absolutely true for me. Um, my abuser was my former boss, so authoritative figure, and he is very in control. Maybe because that's why I didn't say no, I didn't scream, because I just like, what will he do to my career? So, but I'm not afraid anymore. Like, the more I'm releasing my stress, the more that I'm releasing my anger, I allow myself to feel all the feelings. Every day is different. I share in other platform that the last 365 days I wrote a journal, and I wrote my feeling of the day every single day. And I, in fact, just put it together as a word cloud. And it's kind of, make me realize that, you know what, you are so powerful, Boom, and you do all of this for you, not for him, not to, I'm not giving him credit for empower me to who I am today, for the one who not going to let anyone take advantage. I may or may not have a boxing bag in my living room that may have his face on it sometime, or his name. I may or may not, but it feels good sometimes that I just want to kick that face, and it felt good. But certainly, certainly help.
Absolutely true for me. I think reclaiming my body as my own was more than important. After literally feeling dehumanized, I think that it was extremely important to move my body and get healthy in a way that was just for me. And I find it extremely important to know how I'm feeling that day and move my body in the way that it best suits me. And if without fitness and without my community, I'm not sure where my healing process would be, to be honest. It would be very nebulous.
Absolutely true for me. Fitness played a really big role in me reclaiming my body and my relationship with my body. After, my rape, I felt like like my body just wasn't mine anymore. And I like disconnected with it completely, which then led to, of course, me not treating it very well, you know, not valuing it, giving it up way too easily. And so when I like, you know, hit my rock bottom and I was like, okay, we need to fix this. Um, Fitness allowed me to get present with my body. So that meant like having to actually look at myself, having to actually take care of myself. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that is absolutely true, but it doesn't happen overnight. And so I think it's really important to remember that like all of us are saying that like it didn't happen overnight. And what that means for you is that you got to keep going, because it's not going to happen the first time you step in the gym. It's not going to happen the first 2-3 weeks you step in and do something physical. But over time, it's telling your mind that you are worth fighting for. And I am going to say this a million times, because you have to keep telling yourself these things. You don't just like say it once and it's like good to go, because our minds tried to get us back into the spot of us being scared and us feeling broken again, because society and people around us have probably told you that you are broken, that why are you still talking about it, it's happened a long time ago, you should be fine by now. And so we pick those things up and we're like, okay, yeah, why am I still talking about this, why am I still needing to work on myself? Well, because it's a healing journey, not a sprint. And so when we try to rush things, when we try to like do things for like a week and it doesn't work, well, that's because we didn't give it enough time. And so I want to encourage you guys like that it absolutely can change your life, but you get to keep going, and you don't get to beat up on yourself on the days that you don't get to the gym, you don't move your body, because like everyone's like consistency is key. And I think a lot of like fitness and a lot of coaches try to tell us that. And that, yes, absolutely, it's key. But the only thing we can really be consistent in is getting back up. And so we beat ourselves up so bad that we didn't do it we only did it for a week and we gave up, and we beat ourselves up that day that we gave up, then we can't get back up. And so you get to realize like it takes time. You don't get to beat yourself up, and you get to keep going, because you've already brought yourself here. Like, how amazing is it that you're here right now with us listening? And so that's what you get to focus on, is it takes daily actionable steps, and fitness gets to be one of those.
So I have never really been into working out, but I love dancing. And so for me, really getting into, like a hard 20 minutes, half an hour of dancing really helps me to feel energized, release any anxiety, tension, stress. And sometimes I will, like, depending on the cycle that I'm in of the month, I will alternate to stretching. I've never fully gotten into yoga, but I love being able to just do my own sort of fluid, organic sort of stretching to some, music. So music is always part of it. And just going with what my body feels it needs, depending on where I am. So that's more or less, what I do. And walking. I love walking, going outside when it's possible to go outside for walks. That is a game changer for my mental state. So if I can, combine those different things throughout the month, then I feel like I've maintained my optimal sort of activity level.
For me, I enjoy cardio and strength. So cardio would be dancing. I love dancing as well. Love it enough that I become a certified to teach dance. As far as strength, I love Tai Chi, yoga, Pilates. I've done that when I lived in Thailand many, many moons ago. And when I went to school in Japan, I continue on with that / also learning Taekwondo. So basically anything, any workout, any fitness related, it just help release your stress. So, but recently I am into kickboxing.
So I actually prefer at-home workouts. I find that I can do whatever I want to do in the moment. So I have unlimited streaming workouts, and I choose everything from a Pilates yoga blend to a trainer that is really motivating me that day, to cardio, to strength, to Even I'll just take a walk some days just to get outside, get that vitamin D, clear my head, get out with my fur babies. I can't say that I'm consistent in any one workout, but I am consistent in when I work out. Because I know that if I don't, my body will be hurting in the future. And I want to stay as healthy as possible and really de-stress myself as frequently as possible.
For me, it really depends on what I'm feeling that day. Because of my trauma, I tend to suppress a lot of my emotions. And so, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll do an exercise that allows me to release whatever that feeling is in my body. So, if I'm feeling really like angry, then I'll do like a very intense strength workout, which I love those because they usually tend to release whatever I'm feeling anyway. But then if I'm feeling like more sad or really mellow and not really knowing how to express that, then I'll do like a Pilates or just a very free flow stretching exercise. So it just varies really with what I'm feeling that day.
I love going to the gym because it's actually like the one spot that I would get away during the abuse, and I felt physically and mentally strong. And so it's kind of like my escape route throughout growing up, all until about college when I decided that I didn't want to do anything healthy for my body, and I started just drinking and partying. And that's when I really realized how powerful fitness really is, because I saw the opposite of that, where I gained a lot of weight. I hated my body. And so I knew that I had to get back in the gym. And for me, like the reason why I love the gym is because I love like the community around you. I love having people that you know there and the support system there. But other than that, like I love being outdoors. And so any chance I get to go on a hike, I have fur babies too. And so I love walking them as well every morning. But really like it just depends on the day. But I know that if I don't move my body is when I get back in that routine of not loving myself again and not getting that extra energy out that I have. So.
Yeah, so I think one of the things for me, I very much follow my cycle. And so there's different times of my cycle where I feel much more like an introvert than other times, and I will honor what I'm feeling based on that. So I track it. I know that at different times of my cycle, I am feeling much more inward and don't want to be in public. And so I will do whatever it is that feels good physically for me. So maybe that's just stretching and listening to music or doing some kind of something similar to yoga. But then when I do feel more like a different part of my cycle, I feel much more, outgoing. And then I will take those opportunities to push myself a little bit more to be public because I have a tendency to just want to be like a complete hermit and homebody. So, but I know that that's not always healthy, and it's definitely not, like in terms of trying to help my kids be social. I want to also show them that it's healthy. So during that time of my cycle, when I know that I can be more public, I will push myself to like go on walks that are more, where there's more people, or that I will, do a workout with a friend instead. Because I'm not very much of a gym person, but I will try to do things that are a little bit more social and out, where there's outdoor activities involved and things like that, like maybe running with a group of friends or hiking with a friend. So I'll do those kinds of activities based on my cycle. I'm very much about honoring that, and I think it reduces the shame for me too, because sometimes I tend to think like I am such a hermit, and then I shame myself about it. But it's really just because I'm, like that's something that I work with survivor parents about as well. Like, don't teach things that are going to trigger you at the wrong time of your cycle. So if we can honor our body rhythms and our energy rhythms, I think that that makes a big difference and reduces the shame for ourselves of like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not good at this. But maybe it's just because where we are in our cycle is helping us to be more inward or more outward, and then kind of going with that flow. So that's what I always recommend to others, because it works really well for me now that I know, versus in the past where I would like be really hard on myself for not wanting to be outgoing and kind of blaming my past about it. Whereas now I can work with my energy, and that has helped me evolve the way that the way that I implement activity into my life.
At the gym, if I go and work out on my own, music is my best friend. So I would put it in the ear and I block all the noise out. I might try to like sing without singing out loud. It helped me to focus on what I'm doing without worry about who gonna look at me or who gonna think about me. Because most of the time I don't really know those people when I'm using equipment and things. As an instructor, because I would have to be on stage and I'm kind of elevated from others, so I can spot people who first time joining the class, or they're veterans and they know everything that they do, so they hear, very confident. So how I do is that I put myself in their shoes. At one point, I was the first person, when you do some workout that you never done before, you don't know if you put how many plates on this bar, or you don't know what you need. But if you have someone that they're willing and want to connect you and show you. So I always, before class, I normally get there early, and 5-10 minutes, I would just walk around. Do we have anyone first time here? And I would go to them. I would ask them, what's your name? My name is Boom, and I'm here to, I will be giving you options throughout the class. And during the class, if it's a dance class, I would be, as I'm talking and jumping, I would be like, kind of say that name. I'm like, hey, Carly, you're doing great job, So, and I would just periodically, because that I can see, kind of like slowly building up that confidence, because it helped them, and I can see if it helped them, it helped me also. That I feel good that I feel like I'm helping others, motivate them. So
I really continue to show up no matter how hard it is due to my community. Because I check in daily and they know when I'm not being healthy. I always want to show up, and I have clients that need me to show up and need me to lead by example. And if I'm not doing the things that I'm asking them to do, then what kind of coach am I? So I personally keep pushing and keep pushing myself, because I know it's going to benefit both me, the women I'm around, the clients that work with me, and it empowers me. It makes me a better person, because if I can mentally get through something that is extremely difficult physically, then I can get through my day, which is hard enough.
Okay, so discomfort in the gym or in working out. At first, I have to process, like I have to, because the gym is a very triggering place for me. I don't like it because, fitness is such a, it's about appearance, and everyone is looking at you and they're looking at your body. And I get very uncomfortable, especially in the gym. But when I'm feeling those feelings, what I like to do is I ask myself, okay, what actually am I feeling? And then I help myself process what it is I'm feeling. So if I'm worried that people are looking at me and I'm worried that something's going to happen, then I remind myself, okay, I'm safe. There are people around who are trained to be here. If something happens, I will be okay. So I try to make myself feel safe where I am. But then at the same time, I also honor whatever I'm feeling. So if it's just a little too much for me that day, then I allow myself to go home and maybe I feel safer at home today, or maybe I'll feel more comfortable outside walking than in the gym. So I would say, yes, honor what you're feeling. And if you're able to process yourself through it, help yourself through it, coach yourself through it, then do that. But if it is a little too much, also honor the fact that, okay, today it's just a little too much. And then the second thing I do is, if I feel like I am feeling that discomfort and I need some extra support, then I will reach out to someone who knows my experience and explain what I'm feeling. And usually they know me well enough to know kind of what I need to hear in that moment. And it's usually just that I'm safe and I'm okay, everything's okay. They remind me that fitness and my fitness goals are important to me. And then usually after that, I feel safe enough to continue. If I don't, I go back home, I do maybe some Pilates in my living room floor. And then, I still honored my fitness journey in that way, but I also honored my emotional well being in removing myself from a place where I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, for this question, I would just say that we get to be the winners again. And really, it's not about anybody else in that gym. It's not about anybody else who is looking at you. It's about you. And really realizing that you are worth fighting for means that you are worth physically fighting for yourself. And so when you get those feelings of like, hey, like everyone's staring at me, I'm not doing this right, or guys are looking at me, trying to use me, all those things, you get to remember that like, you're not there for them. You're there for yourself. And so when it really gets to be about you being worthy of showing up for yourself, it gets a little bit easier every day to ignore the people looking at you, ignore the people thinking that you're not doing it right. Who cares? Of course, be safe in the gym, be safe, whatever you're doing, but who cares if you look ridiculous? Because it's about you. And so when you make it about other people, then yes, you're going to be staying home and paralyzed. And I know that feeling. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight, that you're going to all of a sudden be like, oh, ignore everybody, right? Because it's natural to care what other people think about you. But when you think about it, like why you're showing up physically for yourself is because you are fighting for yourself. And no one can take that away from you unless you choose to allow them to do that. And so it's a choice that you have to really lean into the uncomfortability and realize like your past has made you stronger. So yes, like most of the time after our abuse, our society, our abusers say that we're broken, that we're used, whatever else, but that's simply not the truth. You're actually stronger. And so what that means is you can show up powerfully in this world, and you get to take the time to heal yourself and to realize that you are worth doing these things for you, not for anybody else in that room, but for yourself. And so when you realize that, you're able to show up easier. And then also a lot of us talked about the accountability and support. Yes, you get accountability and support. You don't have to do this alone. You can hire a coach, you can have accountability friend, family, but I really encourage you to find somebody that's actually going to be like, nope, get going. Because sometimes our friends and family love us so much that they're like, oh, you want to take a week off? That's fine. Eat some chocolate, watch a movie, that's fine. And so you need those people in your life who are like, hey, I know this isn't an easy day, but I know that also moving your body is going to support you and to feel better. And in the long term, you're going to feel healthier and stronger. And so find those people in your life, whoever that is for you, that's amazing, but know that you don't have to do it alone either.
So for me, I developed it myself. I didn't like when I started educating myself about abuse prevention for my children, I didn't really have a community and wasn't having much luck finding one. And so I decided to start one because I wasn't really connecting with other parents who were going through similar journeys. And that was one of the reasons why I created the platform that I use now. So I think it's important to seek one out, but if you're not finding any, sometimes it can just be a matter of like a friend or a family member, and then branching out from there and seeing who else. And you'd be surprised. Like I know we have a lot of fear of speaking up sometimes, and there's shame, which is doesn't belong to us, and I think when we start to realize that we can speak up and be more vulnerable, and other people connect to us because of that. So I think speaking out, finding the courage to do that will connect you with so many amazing people that like this right here, to be able to connect with people who realize that there is the ability to become empowered. And when it comes to fitness and connecting that, I think I'm still learning a lot. Like I look to experts who also understand my journey, and it's not just like the run of the mill kind of fitness experience. It's really more about, do they understand really why I need this, or why it is that I'm going through this, and how can they support me in that way. So, you know, I think the way, like Alicia said, it's really important to have somebody who can guide you. So if you can't create your own community, or you're not finding a community, maybe start with finding a leader or some guide that can point you in the right direction to connect with that community that can support you.
I have two main group of community. One is my family. Um, so I was afraid to even go outside to do workout. So my little guy is like, okay, we're just gonna stay inside. We'll go jump on the trampoline with me, and then we'll do dance in the living room with me, and then we'll do this golf. So he is somebody who come up with things all the time. So that helped keep my mind busy. Um, my other group of support is my fitness instructor friend. You know, I didn't want to broadcast about my story. I'm quite private person, but I do have to tell them. Actually, the day after the incident happened, um, at our gym we have the new class that we have to launch. So all three of us have to be on stage and teach. I was very my anxiety level is so high, and so my friend looking at me and said, "Are you going to be okay to talk to? Because you have to coach through your dancing class." And I say, you know what? In the last few hours, so many people tell me, why didn't you scream? Why didn't you say something to save your life? And I feel like I need to be on that stage. And I remember I walk on that stage, microphone on, and I am someone who soft spoken, but that day I was very on point and I was very strong. I can tell that I'm so empowered. I want my voice to be heard. I want someone to hear my voice, because obviously I didn't have my voice to save my life because I didn't say no, even though that's still bogus. But yeah, I feel so empowered, and I love that friend, that community, that I feel like even though I feel even though nobody know my situation, but they follow me, they listen to me. And I think that's the biggest support I got that day, and I needed it.
So my fitness community made me realize that I was being abused, and I can't thank them enough for that. Additionally, I find that because we do check in daily, I am able to just tell the truth. Like if I have a crappy day, I have a crappy day, and they lift me up. And there is nothing more valuable than a community of women that helps lift you up, especially after what you've been going through. And it's really interesting because when I started coaching, they would ask me to do these meet and greets. And at first I was like, whatever. But then I realized it was a chance to tell my story. And so I started to speak up and say, no, I was abused, and this fitness community pulled me out from the darkness. And more women come to me and say, me too, me too, me too, me too. And that has been invaluable because together we're rising up.
So community for me is, I think Boone mentioned it as well. I have different spaces for community. My fitness community is, I said, primarily like my clients and my coaching space, because me having to show up for myself empowers my clients and everyone else to show up for themselves, and then them showing up for themselves empowers me to show up for myself. So it's kind of a two-way street in that way, in that supporting my clients is community for me and it's community for them. But then of course, outside of work, I also have created community with, like, my roommate, who's my sister. So we hold each other accountable in that way. Having a therapist. So it's a very holistic community. But I think the way that my community supports me is just to hold me accountable for the goals that I set for myself, which is, yes, it's physical, but it's more than that. It's to stay strong and show up for myself and show up for my community, empower women who have had this experience to know that, like, no matter what you've been through, you deserve to live a full and whole, juicy, yummy life. And I think that is how my community has supported me, is me showing up for myself and them showing up for themselves, and then we lift each other up.
I think community is everything, because I think for a while after abuse, all of us were saying that like we didn't have a community, that no one really knew us because we put a mask on, that we were okay for so long, that no one got to know like the real us. And so like what community does is they don't let you hide. They don't let you just go on from day to day to day of being okay. Because like you just said, like we're not meant to just be okay. We're meant to have juicy lives, like you just said. Like we're meant to have amazing, exciting lives. And so when you have a community, you're able to see that easier. You're able to have people that you're able to talk to. You're able to realize like, okay, if she's doing it, I can do it. Because like all of us sharing our story on here, we're no different than you guys. And I think sometimes you look at other people and you compare yourself to other people and you're like, well, they can do it. They're sharing their story publicly. Like they're obviously way farther ahead than I am. But we're not that much farther ahead of you, because we just took daily actionable steps to get out of our, get out of our heads and realize that, like, we do get to have a better life. And all of us have done that in different ways. All of us have done that with different physical movement. But the important thing about community is that you have people around you who know you, who really know you. But that's your choice too. It's all about a choice. And if you want a community, there are communities. I know for a while I was like, there's nobody out there that will ever understand me, because it felt really lonely. But until I realized, like, no, I actually can find a community online. Like I get coached and I am a coach, but like it is all online. And at first for a while I was like, no, like I need people in person. Like I want to see people in person. But really what that did for me is realize that, like, yes, they're there for me all the time, but they're not there for me pulling me out of bed. They're not there for me pulling me to the gym. It's like, no, I actually am strong enough to do that on my own. And so what that taught me is that, like, I don't need someone to hold my hand, because we're very, very strong, and you don't need help. You get support, but you don't need help, because you are absolutely strong enough to find a community, to find a fitness routine that works for you, to pull yourself out of bed. And so that's really what that community did for me, is realize like that I get support. I don't have to do life on my own. And that way I can be a support to others as well.
I think for me, what I always recommend is to learn to tune into your body, because a lot of times we learn to dissociate and we want to actually be disconnected from our body. We have to do this practice of learning to tune in, and particularly for anyone who's a uterus owner. If you have a cycle, then learning how to tap into your rhythm, your energy rhythm, is going to be really key. And starting gently, I think a lot of times, like, we just want to like dive into it because of what we see on, in media and how we're supposed to look, and we try to get to this unrealistic goal. And it's not to say it's unrealistic, because you really can do anything that you set your mind to. But that being said, I think when we start from a place of gentle love for ourselves, that is really what sets us on a path for success, versus trying to do something because we are actually trying to change our body. It's actually more about accepting our body and loving ourselves, and starting from a place that's of a gentle acceptance and making progress day by day. Like, even if it's just baby steps, the biggest thing that you need to be consistent about is being consistent. And even if that means just one day it's just stretching and that's all you do 4 times a day, that's fine, but you're doing something towards your health. And ultimately, that's really, for me, what it's always been about, is my health, not so much about what the way I look, or being postpartum and like having post pregnant belly, and like shaming myself because I didn't work out to try to get rid of that, was never productive for me. So I found a way to connect with my body that felt good, and felt like I was honoring it, and that I was nourishing it in not just like what I ate, but how I treated it and how I moved it. So my biggest advice would be, tune into your body rhythm, to your energy cycle. learn how to be gentle with yourself and do that self-care piece, and do one little thing, at least one little thing every single day. Be consistent in that way because I think, like other panelists have said, it really does show you that you are loving yourself, and that makes a subconscious shift for yourself, and how you want to then start proceeding, and that momentum will build, and you'll end up finding yourself in this really positive, beautiful pattern, of honoring and loving yourself, and that helps in all different ways. So that's what I would recommend.
So I want you to look in the mirror and look past all the physical appearance. I don't care how you look. I don't care what you think people are going to think about you. Who cares? They don't pay you a bill. That's what I tell myself. They're not feeding me food. So you know what? I am who I am. I would recommend to introduce your old self, if you will, to yourself in the mirror again and say, you know what? I'm not going to let the past affect who I am. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to do something to show my body that love that you so deserve. Start something small every day. Do something, your body the best. Give yourself that time, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even 1 minute spin around like a crazy person. You release something. As long as you move, you're gonna get that negative energy out of you. And it's okay if someday that you feel like, you know what, this is not the day. It's okay. You allow yourself to feel all the feelings, and allow your body to experience everything. But it's nothing wrong to push yourself more and more when you're ready. So just again, ultimately, it is up to you.
I have to say that my biggest piece of advice is really start to love yourself again through this process. I do not look at the scale. The scale is not something that I measure myself by. I do not look at myself in the mirror and say I'm skinny and I'm this and I'm that. I don't measure my worth by the way that I look, because that is also looking at ourselves in an objectionable way. It's looking at ourselves without that self-love. It's looking at ourselves in a marketing point of view. And I prefer that I look at myself for my qualities that I enjoy: my strength, my power, my ability to speak, my ability to speak up, my ability to tell the truth. I think that taking daily actionable steps, like everybody's saying, is extremely important. Um, Little things every day will help. Your water intake, not restricting yourself, but nourishing yourself with the things that really matter. Finding those replacement foods instead of the junk. Really not picking up those 40, 50-pound weights at first. Take the fives. Really take care of yourself. Really know what you need and push yourself in little tiny increments, and you will feel better.
Okay, so all the advice has been so good. But what I would add is to think about, or start with, how you want to feel. Throw away all the looks and stuff. Like, the looks are awesome, it's great, the benefits will come, they'll come. But I always recommend people start with how you want to feel, and then find the path that will get you there, that is most in alignment with you. There's so much stuff out there, like as far as fitness. There's a bunch of things that you can do, but find what it is that makes you feel good and healthy and strong and capable, and then focus on that. A lot of fitness is very much focused on like externals, which I think sometimes for survivors it can be very triggering. So I like to give myself permission to not put that on myself. And I've found that for a lot of my clients, when they let go of the external expectations, it's a much richer journey that way. And then also to just have patience and compassion for yourself. I think what might happen, especially, with this, listening to this, is that you might think, okay, so, they use this fitness to get them here, but this has been like a very long journey of showing up for yourself every day. And so just be patient and be compassionate with yourself and allow for your journey, your healing journey, to unfold in the way that it's going to unfold for you. And I think if you do that and then show up for it every day, then it's a very rich, and for me, like the best journey that I've ever been on is that journey back to self.
The advice that I would really give to you guys is that I want to take you back even like farther. Like, so maybe you're like, I'm not even there yet. I can't even get off the couch. And I think all of us can relate to, like, it started with us not even being able to get up. And so the really important thing to remember is there's an amazing rule that Mel Robbins teaches, and it's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. And that's get up off the couch. That's put on a song, go dance. That's get outside. That's whatever it is that you need to do to move out of the situation. Because sometimes it can feel paralyzing to even get started. You're like, I can't even move right now. What are they talking about? Because these are all amazing advice, absolutely. And some of you might be at the spot where, like, I need to find out which fitness thing I do enjoy, right? And so go try new things, go experience new things. Like, it's not all the same for all of us, right? And so you get to go try those classes. You get to get uncomfortable. You get to go out and maybe start with a walk, whatever, 5-minute walk every single day. But it's little things. But if you're stuck on the couch right now, what I really want to encourage you to do is use this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and don't count up, because a lot of times we're like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and start counting with our toes or whatever it is. But it's like you when you count down and you just move, whatever it might seem like the littlest thing, you might just stand up and you're like, I'm just standing. What's the big deal? But you're telling your mind that you are moving. You're telling your mind that you're not stuck, and that you are able to go do something else. And so maybe it starts there. Maybe it starts with finding a new workout routine. Maybe it finds like you have a workout buddy. Maybe that is reaching out to one of us and being like, hey, I need support. Maybe that's asking somebody that you feel uncomfortable asking, but you're gonna go do it anyways, because you are worth fighting for. You are worth showing up for yourself. And it takes like little movements sometimes. Like, I remember the time where I couldn't get up. And I wish I would have known these 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because I stayed there all day, right? But there are tools that are out there. And so be open to hearing from others, be open to having support from others, because yes, it doesn't happen overnight, but you get to enjoy the process. Because to be honest, like, we don't have to do any of these things, but we get to. And so it really, like, what we're all talking about here is like changing your mindset behind the things that you have to do. Because when you say you have to do it, it's like, I have to go work out. I have to eat healthy. It's like, no, you don't have to, but you get to, because our bodies are so valuable, and you are so valuable. And so when you change your mindset behind why you're doing these things, it gets a little easier every single day.
Hi, my name is Rosalia, and I'm a survivor.
Hi, my name is Boom, and I am a survivor.
Hi, my name is Carly, and I am a survivor.
Hi, my name is Nelao, and I am a survivor.
Hi, my name's Alisha, and I'm a survivor.